Hello, everyone. One of the
Hello.
questions we get asked so often is about past life regressions. So we have with us our retreat master of this, Jenali. So Jenali, tell us about past life regressions. What is it? And what are some of the healing experiences that you've had in the thousands of past life regressions that you've done?
So some examples of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is always the most interesting thing, but people will come in experiencing chronic pain. And when they go back into their past lives, they'll see multiple ways of how they have died. And it always comes back to negative cell memory that they're carrying in with them again. That's like the equivalent of PTSD that's recreating the way that they died or the symptoms that they had in the past life, and they're re-experiencing it again now. And once they can understand with their subconscious mind and conscious mind meeting together about where it's coming from, chronic pain and illnesses can disappear in 3 months or less. And so that is one thing that I see the most of. Another thing that's been very interesting the last, I would say 3 years of a spike, is that several women are coming and feeling like they cannot be who they want to be without fear or judgment. And a lot of them have been persecuted for being healers or witches or being in the holistic community. And that's what they want to do in this lifetime, but they are holding themselves back. And time and time and time again, we have just seen that these women were hung, were killed, were strangled by their husbands, banished to faraway lands where they just got sick. And so once they can let go of that fear of persecution, they end up most likely finding the job and the path for them in this lifetime that is holistic healing or energy healing of some kind. And that's what's been really strong in the last few years. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Go ahead, Christina.
Nope, you go, April. This is you.
Okay, I just wanted to validate this a little bit, because being somebody who didn't believe in past lives for a long time, I would say that what helped me to understand even just the science behind it is that even like epigenetics or genetic memory, we even carry, like they can scientifically see in our DNA that we carry cellular memory from generations beyond us. So whether it's the lives that we experienced or not, which I now personally believe that we do experience multiple lifetimes, but you don't have to understand that you are carrying other lifetimes, whether that's like grandmas or great grandmas or whatever, you're carrying that. And so it does need to be addressed and healed and aware of. So it's so freaking cool.
I do want to add to that, though, that when you start doing past life regression work, most of the time you will find that you are reincarnated over and over and over into the same family line. So a lot of times you're here to clean up the mess that you did generations ago. So whether you see it as like past life or genetics, it's almost all the same, because you incarnate several times into your own lineage. So it's both.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So both April and I have experienced doing a past life regression hypnosis with Jenali at the Dark Moon Goddess Retreat. And I will say that these are memories and experiences that have impacted my life and that I have gone back to and looked at. Because the first past life hypnosis that I did with Jenali, which was outside of the retreat, it was before our first retreat, I experienced a lifetime where I had been banished for knowing medicine. That was the words that come to me. And I use that word sometimes, like that wording, but it came in so clear that I was banished because I knew medicine. And I go back to that. And by doing this clearing work with Jenali, I've experienced some of the things that she was talking about, where it was from that point where I started to have less fear and judgment for myself and for how others would perceive me. I've been very clear about my story about how I believed the lie that if I came and led with this spiritual side, that it would discredit me as an educator and business person. And that was an ongoing fear. And after this session, this past life regression, I had less fear around that because I was able to resolve this trauma from a past life. So I'm a believer and an experiencer and beneficiary of this work.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, can I actually add my own experience? The first with the first time we were in the same session when we with both of our first times, and my one of the lives that I experienced was associated with my current father, and I do not have a very emotional connection with my current father, with my dad in this lifetime. And it actually helped me to understand my relationship with him. And he currently has Parkinson's and is in a very like last end of life situation. And it has really helped the relationship so much healing around that relationship, so much understanding around that relationship. And so I'm very grateful to the experience that I have with you.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
So Jenali, what's one of the most kind of like amazing experiences that you've had with past life regression hypnosis?
Okay. I have a really big one, but it's really spiritual. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. I love this. Now, I was teaching hypnosis. I was teaching other people how to become past life regressionists. So this actually happened to one of my students as we were teaching class. And okay, so let me replay this. So she could see herself as a young woman, about 18 or 19. She was on a farm. There was a corral, and she was watching the horses. She was so excited because she was going to get married in just a few days. Excuse me. And as the story progressed, she was in the church and she was getting married to her husband, and she was incredibly happy. And as the story progressed, they ended up having a little girl. And as the story progressed, she was burying a child, and it was another child, a second child who gotten sick and had passed before he was the age of 1 year old. And as the story kept unfolding, the husband became distant from her, and she would sit on their porch in like a rocking chair and watch her little girl. And she said that her husband came in and took the little girl from her and just completely disappeared. And she never seen them again. So when I asked her to replay the last day that she seen her daughter, she told us how she was playing on the deck and how she was so happy, but she herself wasn't really being I don't know, together with the daughter. She was just kind of watching her from a distance. And I had asked her, well, how old would your daughter be about now? And she said, well, she'd probably be about 21. So it had been well over a decade since she'd seen her. And the story kind of had some gaps in it, but I could feel that there was something a little bit more. So I had asked her, well, what did you do during the time that they were gone? And she said, nothing. I've just been sitting here waiting, in my rocking chair, waiting for them to come back. And I said, okay, do you see the white light? And she goes, yeah, it's over there. And I said, well, can you go into the white light? And she said, you want me to leave my chair? And I said, yes, I want you to leave your chair. And the next thing you know, she just was like, oh my gosh, my family, they didn't leave me. They've been waiting for me for a long time. They've been waiting for me. And so she could tell me that they loved her, that they were waiting for her. Actually, she went back and told me the state. It was a little town in Wyoming. She told me the year, and we were actually able to go back and find a story similar to that. What had happened is she'd gotten sick, and she herself had passed away. Her spirit stayed, and that's the only thing that she could remember, is just sitting there waiting for them. She couldn't recall how she took care of herself or anything other than the chair. And we had estimated that she had been there for a little over 150 years. And so one of the cool things was that her spirit, because we will come down and like leave parts of our spirit around, fragmented souls is what we usually call it. And she was able to cross that over and reclaim a part of who she was. And now she's thriving in a way when she felt depressed and felt empty inside. So that was a really cool story, is that she crossed over a part of her spirit that had been stuck here for like 150 years. So I love that. And that happened a little over a year ago. Since then, she's changed careers. She is a medium. She's doing full-time mediumship work. She's really good at stuff like that. So it's just really cool when she gathered herself back together to become more whole, what she was able to do with it after that. Yeah.
That's
Seriously, I've heard that story a few times, Jenali, and every time I get a little choked up about it.
I
It's
know.
so amazing. What deep healing.
Yeah. So that one, if you were just present to watch her actually cross over, oh, it was so emotional. Everybody in the room was just bawling. And the interesting part is when she came back to out of hypnosis, she had no memory whatsoever of any of it. None. And I had caught it on recording. So we have the whole thing recorded for her. She couldn't remember anything. She told us there all the children's names, her husband's name, her name, their last name. She told us everything. And she didn't remember any of it. We had to replay it back for her later on. So yeah, it's fun. I love it. I have another one. Can I share another one?
Please do.
This
Yeah.
is like a excuse me, this is like my client had come in. Her symptoms were she sweated profusely. She had balding hair. She really, really, really disliked being called a witch. When we took her back, she said that she was chained up in some sort of basement with her hand over her head like this. Her head was down. Oh, and that was causing neck pain here. And when she could kind of look around the room, there were several other women locked up. And they came and unlocked her, took her out front of the building, and they had told her they were going to take pity on her because she was older than the other women and that she was going to be killed for being a witch. In front of like the town or the community, they chopped her head off and they proceeded to burn her body. And her spirit, once the spirit disassociated from the body, it didn't immediately cross over. She stayed and watched what they did. So when she got born again into this lifetime, she had the same symptoms of being burned and her head hanging down and the head chopped off, right? So she had neck pain, sweating profusely, balding hair. There was something about her wrist hurting too. That was a minor one. That wasn't one of the big ones. That was something that came out later. And so that's why she hated to be called a witch in this lifetime. And also, she's a medium doing full-time mediumship work now too. So it's like the coolest things happen when you can go back and understand where these things are coming from. And it's just what we call negative cell memory. Again, negative cell memory is the equivalent of PTSD that's coming back into this life. And once you can uncover it, you can get rid of chronic sickness, chronic pain, addictions, bad relationship problems sometimes. You can overcome, there's fears and phobias and just several other things. It's really cool. And the cool part is it usually only takes 3 months or less for that to clear up.
Amazing.
wow. Oh, so cool. And it's one of my favorite days of the whole retreat. It's one of my favorite days.
Yeah.
Are you having a hard time hearing, Jenali?
Well, you connected to my headphones for 1 second.
Wild.
And then you went back off. That's why I was like,
because all those super energetic beings were creating waves in the electronic. So really quickly, Jenali, just to finish this up, what could someone expect in the process and afterward, like coming into the process? So if somebody was like, I'm not so sure about this, can you just explain the process, the nuts and bolts, and then what one could expect?
Yeah. So the process of hypnosis itself, is that what you're asking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So of
and
course,
what you're
we
doing
just go in. Mm-hmm. Say it again.
I was just going to say what it would look like to experience it with you.
Yeah. So when you come in for a session, whether it's a group session or a private session, we relax the mind and relax the body, just like a guided meditation. Do an emotional detox to get rid of all of the heavy stuff that you're holding in right now, and then lead you down into what we call the archives to get your book of life and go through it. And an average session is about 3 lifetimes that you'll go back, where you can uncover negative cell memory, soul recognition, which is if somebody was there with you in that lifetime, here again with you now, because you usually chart in the same people, just different roles of your life. Lessons, regrets, clearing up any karma, and then usually we'll uncover the way that you died, just to make sure there's no extra other negative cell memory, and then bring you back in with your authentic truth, your authentic self. So raising up your confidence, your joy, your prosperity, to remember the energy is limitless. And that's what an average session looks like. It is interesting to do past life regression because I'm not telling you, you're telling me. And you are telling me, and I catch it on recording, so you're able to remember it. And we just uncover things as we go. So no session is going to be the same, because what you are telling me, the session is catered to you. And I have several other techniques. I probably have about 10 techniques to help you get there. And whether you've tried hypnosis or not, you can still do a past life regression for your first session and still come back with information. Yeah.
So beautiful. April, did you find, you talked about the story with your dad, and what else what are just another couple of big takeaways that you've experienced from the retreats that we've done where you've experienced this work?
Honestly, the past life day that we have is my favorite in the retreat. I love to. I feel like it's a really deepening connection for the group in general, but then us on an individual level as well. It's such a powerful day because that's information that you come away with from the retreat, from the whole thing, where I feel like continue to work with it, like you continue to have insights into it, and it like continues to evolve. And so I just think it's such a powerful, especially because this is the dark moon goddess retreat, so we are going to the depths, we're going to the shadows. And so one of the, I think, best, most productive way is with past life regression, honestly. So it's pretty cool.
Thank you. I love that.
Thank you so much. And we invite you to register for the Dark Moon Goddess Retreat and experience this and so many other things that just help you, like April said, go to the depths and embrace the Dark Moon Goddess within you. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, girls. See you later.
Bye.